Hey everyone. So today we're diving into something that's a really powerful and, let's be honest, often overwhelming part of the autistic experience, rumination. And right off the bat, I want to be super clear. This isn't about trying to fix anything. The goal here is to really understand how our brains tick, to find some tools that actually fit, and to learn how to navigate our own inner world with a little more confidence and kindness. So let's get into it. You know that feeling, right? That sudden heart in your throat moment? Some small, uncertain thing happens, and boom, it's like a runaway train of thought just takes off, heading straight for the absolute worst possible destination. That feeling, that immediate thought spiral, it's a very real thing. And if that sounds even remotely familiar, please know you are so not alone in this. Okay, so let's put some names to what we're actually talking about here. There are two big ones. First up, you've got rumination. Think of it like a song stuck on a loop in your head, only it's a thought or a past conversation or a feeling just playing over and over and over again. And then there's its partner in crime, catastrophizing. That's when a tiny little spark of worry just explodes into a full-blown worst-case scenario wildfire. Just being able to say, that's what that is a huge first step. So the big question is, why? Why do our brains do this? And it is so, so important to understand that this is not a personal failing. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a direct result of how the autistic brain is wired. You could say it's not a bug, but a core feature of a very unique and powerful operating system. Let's look under the hood for a sec. Cognitive inflexibility. That isn't you being stubborn. It's that your brain can have a genuinely hard time shifting gears away from a thought once it's latched on. An insistence on sameness is this deep need for things to be predictable, which means your brain might go into overdrive analyzing every single what if. We have this incredible skill for pattern recognition, but that can also mean we're constantly searching for the hidden logic behind a friend's tone of voice. We're not replaying things to punish ourselves. We're trying to understand them, to decode the social rules in a world where it feels like everyone else got a manual we didn't. And this highlights a really, really key difference. For a lot of people with social anxiety, the rumination is all about a fear of being judged. But for many of us on the spectrum, the focus is different. It's often less about fear and way more about analysis. It's about replaying that conversation from 3 days ago to try and figure out the algorithm, to decode the rules, to build a better mental blueprint for next time. It's a very logical brain trying to make sense of a very illogical social world. So that's the why, right? These thought patterns are actually a pretty logical part of how our brains are wired. And knowing that is so powerful because it means we're not broken. It just means we need a different set of tools. Which brings us to the real question here, doesn't it? We've seen the storm, we kind of get why it forms, but how do we actually learn to navigate it? How do we sail through it without getting tossed around? The single most important shift we can make is this. Your mind is not the enemy here. It's not trying to sabotage you. In its own way, it's trying to protect you. Our job is to just gently offer it some new, more effective ways to do that. All right, let's get practical. Let's talk about some real, concrete, actionable things you can do to find a little bit of calm and feel more in the driver's seat when those thought loops start to spin up. First up, this one's a classic for a reason. The 5-4-3-2-1 method. Seriously, think of this as the emergency brake for your brain. When your mind is just spiraling out, this technique forces you to pull your attention out of that inner chaos and plant it firmly in the here and now by focusing on your senses. What can you actually see, feel, hear? It's simple, you can do it anywhere, and it really, really works. Next is a really cool concept called cognitive diffusion. The whole point isn't to stop the thoughts, but to change your relationship with them, to kind of unhook yourself. So instead of thinking, I'm a failure, you just notice it. I'm having the thought that I'm a failure. See that little bit of space you just created? Or you can get silly with it. Take that anxious thought and sing it to the tune of Happy Birthday, or say it in a goofy cartoon voice. These little tricks remind you that a thought is just a thought. It's a passing flicker in your brain, not some absolute truth carved in stone. Okay, I want you to think of your mental energy like your phone's battery. Some things, like a crowded supermarket or a confusing meeting, drain it super fast. Other things, like digging into a special interest, can actually recharge it. Now, rumination absolutely thrives when that battery is low. So by practicing energy accounting, you start to consciously balance the drains and the charges throughout your day, making sure you don't hit that 1% mark. This is preventative care for your mind, and it is a game changer. And hey, the more tools in your toolkit, the better. You could try scheduling a 15-minute worry time every day. You basically give the thoughts a specific appointment so they don't crash the rest of your day. Just getting up and moving, even for a walk, can be a massive mental reset. Getting thoughts out of your head and onto paper can make them seem so much smaller. And my favorite, use your superpower. Channel that incredible analytical mind into a hobby you love and redirect all that intense focus into something that fills you up. So, we've got all these practical tools, which is great, but there is one more thing that really holds the entire toolkit together. And honestly, it's the most important one of all. It's self-compassion. This is all about learning to approach your own mind with kindness, patience, and real understanding. I just want you to sit with this for a second. Really let it sink in. So many of us are the absolute kindest, most understanding people to everyone else in our lives, but we hold ourselves to these impossibly high, critical standards. This quote just hits so hard. If you wouldn't dare speak to a friend the way your inner critic talks to you, it's time to change that conversation. So let's just circle back and be really clear about the goal here. It was never about trying to silence your mind or get rid of rumination forever. That's part of your brain's architecture. The real win, the real goal, is to become a skilled navigator of your own inner world, armed with a good set of tools and a deep, deep sense of self-compassion. Please be patient with yourself. This is a practice, not a performance. And I'll leave you with this final thought to carry with you. What if we just completely flipped the script on this whole thing? What if this tendency to think so deeply, to analyze everything, to prepare for every possible outcome, what if it isn't a flaw that needs to be fixed? What if it's just a feature, a powerful core part of your unique operating system that you can learn to understand, harness, and work with? Thank you so much for joining me today.